depression. How do we handle depression? You know what? I don't know if it may have been diagnosed. I remember one of the pivotal moments was when I was about 16 or 17. It was between my junior and senior year of high school. And I remember like it was yesterday. I was wearing some kind of jeans or khaki shorts and a winter green shirt because I was servicing at a summer camp at our nature center. And my mom pulled up in our used Ford convertible, and I remember the manila envelope there that held the divorce papers. And that totally rocked my faith because my parents were Bible, or my dad was a pastor at one point. He was a deacon in the church. And so I thought that Christians could never get divorced. And I remember going to youth group that night and just bawling. And I just remember, like, for months, just crying, like, uncontrollably for, like, no reason. Prior to that, I just lacked a whole lot of energy. So knowing what I know now about mental health, it was definitely some periods of dysthymia or depression. Nothing was ever diagnosed. But I just remember being triggered, like standing or sitting there in church, and anytime they'd bring up the words like father, mother, family, or I would see people going up and being prayed for with their family. And my parents always took me to church on Sunday mornings, and on Wednesday nights. But I would catch rides to church or home on Sunday nights, and I just craved for me so much the presence of God to be real in my life because he felt so far away. I felt like King David, who writes most of the Psalms, and when he's writing these Psalms, he's running from King Saul, who's trying to kill him, and he's in a deep, dark place. And even David cries out to God in his trouble and in his despair, and he realizes that I hope you come to realize, if you're a person of faith, that God is his comfort and his source of help. And so even on the darkest days, dealing with my parents' divorce, feeling mad at God, feeling rejected, feeling abandoned, I knew that God was always there. He said that he is a father to the fatherless. He said that he is close to the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds. He begs for us to come and to sit of him because his yoke is easy and his burden is light, and there in his presence you will find comfort for your soul. He says that the morning may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Guys, it was my faith in Jesus Christ that it was the only thing that pulled me through. When my family wasn't there, when my friends weren't there, when I was all alone in the midnight hour, crying out to God, pouring tears over my Bible and my journal, it was God that got me through the darkest night, the depression of the soul. And now I'm a social worker. I was going to be a journalist. And God used that mess of my parents' divorce, and he's turning it into my message. Now I get to work with children and youth in their homes and at the school, and let them know that, hey, there is hope, that you can break free of depression. If you need to be on your medicine, then be on your medicine. But I talk to my kids a lot and my families a lot about their thinking of things. That the event that happened to you once, but the story that you tell yourself about the event dictates your future. If you keep telling yourself the same dark story and the same negative thoughts about what you were going through back there, then you're going to continue to stay in that deep dark place. But if you tell yourself a new story of having peace and hope and confidence again, a story of overcoming and being a winner, and you see yourself as someone having a life that is full of peace and hope and joy, and that does not have depression, doesn't mean you're not going to have trials, doesn't mean you're not going to have dark days ahead. But if you just tell yourself a different story, and you change your mindset, there's so much power in the spoken word. And then surround yourself around people that love you. That was another thing. Not only did I have my faith, but I had a few close friends and people at the church that just loved on me and supported me and prayed me through it. And even though the situation with my parents didn't change, I was starting to change through that situation. And I was the scared girl who was mad at God, and it grew my faith. And so these trials come that it may test your faith, and that your faith may develop perseverance, and that you may mature to every good work, and that you would be found lacking nothing. That's found in the first chapter of James. So I know this is kind of long today, but I'm hoping that it helps somebody. If you're struggling with depression, or you know somebody that has depression, that first of all, if you're a person of faith, turn to God. And if you're not, or you're helping somebody who's just struggling with your faith, God is close to those that are brokenhearted, and He loves your sincerity. Scripture says that a broken spirit God will not deny. He does not despise your brokenness. He's in the midst of the brokenness, and He wants to be able to heal you and to restore you completely. But if you're not there right now, that's okay. Just find a group of people that love you and support you unconditionally. And I know that you can climb out of this hole of depression. Don't believe the devil's lies that you're always going to be depressed, that you're always going to feel this way. I think that's a lie. He tries to get you withdrawn and isolated from people that can help and support you. So this is Tiffany. My prayers to you as you guys are going through your own journey of health and healing and dealing with depression.